to be real time with you about what's going on in life in terms of your critical thinking and decision making, right? So a lot of you are on that cusp. You're not really a kid and you're not really a full adult. You want to act like you're grown, decisions like you're grown, but sometimes you're struggling with that. And so my job today is basically go through the process of critical thinking and of decision making and the importance, because from here on out, you're going to have to use your own mind. You're going to have to use your own voice. And like Laureen is constantly showing you and keeping you active, like you got to know who you are, where you stand, so that as you move forward, you make the right decisions for your future. A lot of you guys want to do wonderful things with your careers, with your lives. You want to make big bank. You want to be prosperous. You want to take care of yourself and your family. That's going to take a lot of critical thinking and decision making that can affect your life in a good way or in a bad way, a positive way or a negative way. So let me go ahead and pull this thing up so that I can get you all active in here. Let's see, photos. Let's see, let's go with the, where you at, BYLP, and bam. Select you guys and get you in this process. All right, so for those of you who are new to me, my name is Miss Marianna, and the company I have with the misspell at the top is Presents. I can't spell, so please excuse that. We're gonna keep it all the way real. And the workshop today is called The Importance of Critical Thinking and Decision Making, all right? So Marianna, at any time, if you wanna jump in, make some comments, don't just sit there and be on your cell phone on the side. I want you to be interactive. So if you're feeling something, give me a fist pound. If something resonates with you and you like it or you have a question, feel free to type in a comment. I'm gonna ask you certain things, and even though we don't necessarily see each other face to face in the same room, clearly you've been engaged, so you can see how we get down. It is interactive and you can ask questions. So the outline today is pretty simple. Sometimes we don't need to make things too extra and complex, because then we lose the meat, we lose the grit of what. So today's outline only requires, number one, I need you to have an open mind. Put a fist pound if you can have an open mind, if you can be honest with yourself, and you can take notes, even if it's in your cell phone or on your devices. Give me a fist pound, give me a hand clap, give me the peace sign. Let me know you're out there, because now the presentation up and I can't see your face, but I do see things popping up. So I got one fist pound from Zach. I love it. Thank you very much. Hopefully more of you guys will tune in with me and just keep chiming in as we go. So number one, what is critical thinking, right? We're going to talk about what is it. Some of us have heard the phrase. We feel like we're mature. We may have even used the words before or flex it on folks in certain conversations, but maybe we still need to be honest. We're exploring what critical thinking really is, right? Number two, we're going to talk about decision making. Why is it important? A lot of us, again, we want to be grown. We're rushing to be grown. We want to make big decisions, but we really don't know what a decision-making process is like. And then lastly, I'm going to go over what is my process? Like, how do I execute going from thinking in my mind to actually making an action through decision-making? And finally, moving forward to our actual process, so that every time you have to do critical thinking and decision-making, you're not all over the place, you're not all stressed out, you're not tripping, and you're not looking at your crazy reality TV show stars to give you guidance on where to go. You have your own inner compass, you have your own mind, you have your own gut that you can run with, okay? So I want you to give me another fist pound. And if you're feeling yourself and you're feeling open and transparent, number one, type in a fist pound or a yes if you've ever in your whole entire life, 15, 16, 17, 12, 11 years, made a bad decision. Let me go ahead and give you a few fist pounds right up in here. Yeah, okay, whoa, y'all blowing me up. Okay, all right. So if you can start to open up the vessel of opening your mind, that's a whole lot of yeses in there. So clearly we all on the same learning field right now. We have all made some kind of bad decision. It could be small bad decisions a lot all the time when you feel like you're getting in the heat because you're not handling things right. It could be big decisions where it seems like it takes forever to live it out, live it down, make peace with whoever it is that it has affected outside of yourself, right? Who else can admit that someone else, give me a fist pound or a yes, if someone else made a decision that affected you and you was like, I wasn't even in this, but because you chose to do A, B, or C, it affects me too. Like decision and not even connect with me. I see a yes with a couple apostrophes, right? So I really want you to embrace the idea that decision making, it affects you, but it affects your home, whatever your family dynamic is. And it doesn't matter whether you have both parents, one parent, biological parents, foster parents, adopted parents, your siblings, right? Because sometimes you can make a decision. Who has siblings out there? Holler at me and give me a note if you have siblings, and type in how many. If you have one sibling, type in one. If you have two, two, three, three, right? I'm seeing threes pop up. I'm seeing twos. Okay, how many of you are the older? Type in older if you're the older sibling. And folks be looking up at you, oh yeah, so I got a whole lot of older siblings in here. So it's clear that you know what I mean by, if you make a decision, it can affect and influence other people. And then sometimes it's like you get an even worse rap because of it, right? You know better than that. You know your brothers and sisters is watching you. If you do that, they're going to follow you. And then you're not only responsible for yourself, but you're responsible for your siblings. Now, lastly, in your process, right? Who can admit that sometimes you get confused? Tell me give me at least one thing that you get confused about as a young adult. You're not a kid anymore. You're not a fully grown adult, so you still need somebody to help pay for the groceries and for your cell phone that you're addicted to and for your shoes and your clothes. If there's at least a few people out there, go ahead and take a few seconds to type in some things that you might be confused about. It might be, where am I going to go to school? Am I going to go to school? There's a pandemic going on. Okay, I see someone says homework and good friends. Who out there struggles with, are you really my friend? Because some of the decisions you make and the things you do, I mean, I like you, but you be doing some stuff that ain't cool. I don't even know. Or how about, have you been a good friend? Have you ever been confused about the fact that you haven't been a good friend? Right. Some people are confused about what's going to come after high school. Some folks said, I don't even have friends. That could be difficult. Somebody said taxes. Okay, Devin, you doing taxes. Kendra says budgeting. Absolutely. These are all real life decisions. That medical insurance, man, this is all some real life stuff. So I love the fact that you're chiming in. Getting a job, another one, confused about life after school. These are all real things. Again, thank you for being engaged. I only got you for another 50 minutes, so let's roll. All right, sister girl looks stressed out. Give me a fist pound if you get stressed out. So that kids don't get stressed. Like, honestly, I see that a lot where elders and adults, it's like, I'm paying, I'm working a job, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I give you something to cry about. Have you ever heard that one before? What you got an attitude for, right? These things are very real, and I want to validate you. So first of all, before we go any further, I'm sure Laureen expresses this in her own way, but this is a safe space. So anything that you share, no one's going to weaponize it against each other. Y'all all brothers and sisters, even though you don't get to see each other and do all the awesome workshops in person that are going on. This is a safe space. So the things that you're sharing here, I might say it out loud or repeat it, but it's not to single anybody out or to make you feel bad. If anything, it's so that you realize, like, dog, I'm not the only one. Like, I'm trying to do school. I'm trying to get through it. Understand the pandemic. I'm at home up underneath everybody all day, every day. Still got to participate so Miss Laureen won't be riding me talking about where you at. I need you in attendance, right? All these things are going on, and it can be very stressful. So I want to acknowledge the fact that as a young person, you can be stressed out, whether it's school and what you're going to do now with the changes, even before the changes. Give me a fist pound if it didn't even take a pandemic and you were already a little confused about what you're going to do. It's like, yeah, I got these cool organizations, and I'm here with Miss Laureen, but I still don't know what I want to choose for my major. I don't know if I'm going to have money. Am I going to have a scholarship? I got multiple siblings. Like, do I need to go away to college? Do I need to stay? Right? So some of you guys may have already had some issues with stress. The pandemic just made it worse. I see a lot of fist pounds. I see a lot of yups. Alana says, life is stressful. Look, you sound like a 11-year-old lady, like you're grown, like you lived through some things. But the reality is, teens get stressed too. And I just cannot validate enough that you aren't seen. You're supposed to always behave. But sometimes they tell you what you're supposed to do after you do it wrong, right? And that's whack. It's our job as adults to make sure that you understand how to critically think before you get to a situation. Not stressed out and you're not easily influenced. So check it. Sister girl, she got her natural popping, clear skin, look like she living her best life. Body language, it looked like she going through some things, right? and she's maybe in her 20s or something. It looks like she's stressed out. Y'all gonna be 21 day too, right? So let's talk about this first section of our 3-part journey here. Critical thinking and the definition, right? Straight across the board from the Google, from the internet, the objective analysis and evaluation of an issue in order to form judgment. Let me break it down. I know you're intelligent, but sometimes we get to using words and talking over each other's head. And my job is to make sure we're on a level learning field. We can't be on a level playing field and a winning field unless we're all learning and on the same accord and have a full understanding of what the heck we're talking about. So critical thinking, let's break down the first line, the objective analysis. And if you look to the bottom of the page, I broke down what objective is because sometimes we forget. It means not influenced by person or opinions. And a lot of the times, how many of you guys can admit that you judge folks or certain things when you analyze things because your friend told you they was whack? You don't even know the person. I'll admit it. In high school, somebody might have been like, oh, don't mess with her because she's woo, woo, woo. And I'm like, I don't even know the girl, but okay, girl, if you say she ain't cool, she ain't cool. And then all of a sudden you have this biasness, right? Or how many times have you had a negative attitude going into something because it's brand new? Your parents might have wanted you to try something. It might have been BYLP. Go to this organization. They got positive things going on. You're like, I don't know these people. I want to chill and be on my phone all day long and watch Netflix all day, right? How many of you all can admit that you weren't objective? You had, sometimes it's called in your feelings. You were in your feelings before you gave something a fair chance to even observe it and to check it out, right? And so we'll go on to the next line of evaluation of an issue, right? So evaluation is determining the value, the nature, the character, the quality of something or someone, right? So sometimes we might have an attitude, be in our feelings, have a negative opinion about something and be in our feelings about it before we even explore the person, place, or thing to give it a chance. And oftentimes we cutting our own blessings off. I don't know. Give me a fist count if you got an auntie or a big mama that says don't block your blessings. You might be blocking your blessings just because you don't go to something with an open mind or a critical, objective mind. You go into it with feelings and an attitude because you're new to it or you're maybe a little threatened by it or it's unfamiliar. I appreciate all the yes. I see a lot of yups. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So clearly I'm speaking to something that you've experienced before, right? And so the whole idea of critical thinking is having an objective mind, right? An objective analysis, going into it without all these different thoughts and feelings that you think you know or you can predict, and just observing and having an analysis, having an evaluation. If you've ever been to a doctor or had a test, they'll say, we need to have an evaluation. And that's like getting an assessment, right? How would you feel if you went to the doctor and they had a negative attitude towards you? Don't you think that that would change their assessment of you? Have you ever had a teacher that you could tell had a bad attitude? Let's keep it all the way real. Miss Laureen's always going to bat for those of you, right? You know the teacher got an attitude. They're never going to say that, but they're not objective when they're working with you. They don't have an open mind. You can feel the negativity, or a sibling or an adult, right? But because they're adults, you can't really say something. Well, having an objective mind as an educator, as a parent, it's our job to kind of have a neutral mind so that when you come to us about anything, we can talk to you. And that's the same thing that you're going to have to learn to do, whether you decide to be a parent in the future or not. Just in terms of life, you got to have an open mind. Now, once you do your assessment, once you do your evaluation, once you do your critical thinking, and you look at all things that are present, you can make a judgment on whether or not you need to engage this person, place, or thing, whether or not you need to decide to continue on interacting with these person, places, or things. So give me a fist pound if you clearly understand what critical thinking is. It means saying about your feelings, you having an open mind, being able to evaluate something, and then moving forward so you can make a judgment on what it is. Okay, good. So y'all with me? Let's move on. All right. So how do I think critically? Okay, you told me what it is, but like, how do I do that, right? The way I like to do it is two ways: operating like a scientist or operating like a journalist, right? So we'll do scientist, right? If you've ever taken a science class, put a peace sign up in the box right now. If you ever had to take any kind of science, biology, chemistry, any form of science in the physical nature. Usually that's required for high school, right? So give me a thumbs up or a peace sign. Okay, so now you understand the mind state when you go into science, right? You can't get the right answer because you tell the teacher like it's language arts, right? Well, I feel, right? It's not poetry class. How I feel inside is this and that. It's not your opinion. It's not your thoughts. With science, it's numbers, it's math, it's observation, it's proven hypothesis, right? It ain't about your feelings. So number one, operating like a scientist, the way you think critically is to, again, get out your feelings. Now let's do a checklist, right? A checklist to find out if you're operating only on emotion and feeling and reaction, which prevents you from being responsive and mature, right? Am I being a mature thinker? Let's talk about it. Let's lay some things out. Remember when you was little, when you was younger, and maybe sex came up? But the reality is you're watching TV all day and you're listening to music all day that talks about sex. You could sing about it, you could twerk, you could talk, think about it, sensationalize it in movies and videos. But then when it's time to sit down and have a conversation with a loving adult or a caring professional, you, right? Let's be. Being a mature thinker means, first of all, you get rid of some of those childish ways present and you have some maturity about it, even if it is a topic that's a little goofy or silly or a topic that you haven't explored. Maybe you get a little bashful. That's normal. But when you're communicating and engaging it, you have to be a mature thinker. Now, let's go to the next one. Am I neutralizing triggers? Let me give you an example. If you don't know what a trigger is, it's just like having a gun emotionally, and at any moment, bang, bang, you're ready to pop off. Give me a fist pound if you maybe had a bad experience and then somebody else did something similar and you was ready to go off on that person because you're like, I'm not going through that again. I remember when this happened to me last time a person did that. Let me pop off my trigger. Yeah, I see some yeps in there. I see some fist pounds, right? Because maybe you had such a bad experience that anything that reminds you of that, it triggers you and you're ready to pop off and people are like, what's wrong with you? Why are you being so extreme and dramatic? It's like, oh, let me neutralize and calm myself down. This is a new person. And if I don't like something, I can articulate that. I don't have to just pull out the guns of glory and be ready to take some or chop somebody's head off because it reminds me of some trauma or something that I've been through. The next thing is observing details. Am I observing details? You ever lose something and you running all over the house? You done tore your bedroom up. You done tore the everything drawer up. I don't know about y'all, but I got an everything drawer in the kitchen where it's like a little bit of everything in there. Hot sauce packets, old bobby pins, coupons, all kind of stuff. Let me quit because I think I'm a comedian. But have you ever lost something and you're running all around and because you're not observing the fine details are like, oh, I had these pants or I had this skirt on last. I didn't even go check the last thing. And then you go look and you're like, damn. I was going right over it. It wasn't hiding from me. Yes, the everything drawer. Okay, Melissa, I'm not the only one. Thank you for that validation, right? So sometimes we're not observing the small details because we're so in our feelings or we're so being emotionally charged that we're looking over some of the most important things. Kind of like a detective. A detective has to look at all the small details, which can amount to the big answer, right? And then just the opposite. Am I observing the big picture? You have to take a little bit of time on both sides, right? Observe the fine details so you don't miss anything. But sometimes you got to pull yourself back like a drone, like an eagle, and soar over the situation and understand from a bird's eye view what is everything going on. And then lastly, am I using my senses? Now, let me break it down because I know I said get out your feelings. I'm talking about your emotional reactionary feelings. I'm not talking about your basic senses. Somebody tell me what some of the basic senses are. I'll tell you one of them is listening, sound. What's another some of our basic senses that we have that can help us give information? Smell, taste, absolutely, taste, touch. Those are sight, excellent. So those are our senses and our bodies have a level of intellectual property that we can use our senses without going insane and acting senseless with our emotions. So let me make sure that you understand that getting out of your feelings merely means you're not reacting and only responding through what your heart or your emotions are saying. It means you can also use your senses Oh, and I misspelled there, my bad. Using your senses in terms of making sure that you know exactly what you hear and smell and think and taste, and you're allowed to do that. Okay, so next thing is look at the facts, right? You guys use that emoji with the 100, with the 100 sign? Is that just me? I don't even know if you can put that in there. Put the 100 in if you can. If not, it's all right. So we always talk about keep it 100. Keep it 100. Straight facts, 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 right? But a lot of the times we look over them. Who is involved? Oh, I see my first 100 sign. It's red like my outfit today. I was feeling spicy for the young folks. Okay. So who is involved and affected? We went over that already, right? Who is involved? Let me look at the facts. Who, what, when, where, why, right? What is or what will happen, right? If I'm looking around and everything's going on, right? If I see some folks scrapping at an event, it's probably something going to go down. Should I use my critical thinking and get closer to the situation, or do I need to grab my friends and get to a safe space? That's using your senses and your sight and ears and all these things to assess, okay, this may or may not happen. This is a probability. Let me get up out of here to a safe space, right? Consult with a reputable source, right? Sometimes we be getting our information from folks that we know be stretching the truth. Y'all got some friends that, I don't want to call them liars, but they tell stories. Go ahead and type in story. And if you want to admit you've told a story and not being honest or making a bad decision before, right? Story, right? And a lot of this stuff that we see online, a lot of these things that we see in reality TV, those are stories and narratives that are oftentimes not real, but they're presented as they're real. And it starts to mess with our reality of what's real, what's unreal, what's honest, what's dishonest. Should I say this because it'll make me look good? There's all kind of ideas out there. So when you're talking about seeking out a reputable source means somebody that is credible. Somebody like Big Mama, who you depended on for advice all your life and it will never steer you wrong. Somebody like Miss Lorraine that's going to keep it 100 with all facts. She might put a little emotion in there because she loves you and she want to make sure you're listening. But when it's time to bring the facts and bring the information, this person doesn't have any interest in swaying you to a negative direction or making you feel how they give you the facts like a good documentary and let you come to your own conclusion, right? And then what is the history or the her situation? Sometimes we go right off the minute, right off the bat. You see one minute clip or you see one quick interaction. That doesn't sum up the whole situation, right? Sometimes that happens with us, right? Somebody might hurt us or antagonize us or irritate us or do us wrong. And then they only want to start the story when you finally trigger, bang, bang to defend yourself, right? Well, hold on. That's not where the story started. There was A, B, and C that started before D, E, F, G, elemental P, and all that stuff happened, right? So get the full history. I like to say her story too, to make sure that it's not just his story, it's her story, so that you can use your judgment as you're thinking critically. And then lastly, calmly collect information. If you're in a frenzy and you're trying to pack a bag, you're more than likely going to miss something that you need down the line on your journey. So when you're collecting information from reputable sources, from your senses, from the things that you understand about the history of the situation or the person, make sure that you're packing well, not too heavy, pack light, just the things that you need to make an educated decision. And then lastly, on thinking critically, you got to have clear takeaways, because if you call yourself thinking critically, but you're not learning anything, you might not be thinking critically. You're learning and observing and extracting information. Do you understand the aspects? Like I've been checking in with you. I'm not just off information and assuming that you understand. I'm making sure to stop and pause, check in with you, make sure you understand the information that's being imparted, that's being poured into you. And double checking, right? Double back. Did I overlook anything? Is there something that I'm biased to that I don't pay attention to, that I need to pay attention to before I, finish this critical thinking session and go to make this decision about my friends or my family or my education or the peer pressure that I deal with, right? And then if you're still confused, go seek counsel. Go find Miss Lorraine. Go find your counselors. Go find your pastor. Go find whoever it is in your life, your spiritual mentors, your mentors in sports, people that your parents know about and they approve of you having safe conversations and safe spaces with them, check in with them and be like, yo, I'm trying to think critically, but I'm still confused. What am I overlooking? Because sometimes it just might be you're not experienced in the situation, right? Name one thing in the comment box that you're curious about and you're ready to do as an adult, but you don't have enough information yet. What is it? What is something that like you really looking forward to in being an adult, but you like, I know I still got learning to do. I be trying to act like I'm grown. I try to act like I know everything right now, but if right now I'd be saying I want to do that, if it fell in my lap right now, I probably wouldn't be. Getting your own house, right, supporting yourself, moving, family, driving. So these are future workshops that we can have. Starting successfully, robotic engineering, living on my own. These are real life things, right? And a lot of you be like, oh, I can't wait. But have you been taking assessment and really studying? Or are you studying your favorite celebrities and athletes and makeups and outfits? And I ain't taking that away. But sometimes we need to think critically on how much time we invest in other people's image of success and ideas of success. But we're not really doing a lot of critical thinking on what it's going to be like and what it's going to take to do all those things that you just listed. So for those of you who follow along, give me some kind of word, give me some kind of fist pound. Is Miss Marianna on point, or am I just way over your head and you're not feeling it? Are you interested? If you're interested and I still got your attention, put attention in there. All right, Jada says on point. Alana says on point. Chloe says on point. Yes, okay, I got your attention, on point all the way around. Woo! This looked like a face that you see on the reality shows, right? They be looking like princesses, literally. They got gowns on, face painted. Dudes be having all their outfits and shoes on. But then when you look closer, it's nothing but stress, right? And so a lot of the imagery around us that we're constantly seeing is very, very stressful, right? So let's talk about decision making. Do I need to decide to do this or not? Is this a yes or a no? Is this a good thing or a bad thing? It's the action or process of making decisions, especially important ones, right? Sometimes the little things like what you want to eat. I don't know if you've ever been on a date before, but that's a big joke when people start dating. Like, well, what do you want to eat, dear? I don't know. What do you want to eat, dear? I don't know. What do you want to eat, dear? I'm hungry. We're going to be starving by the time you figure it out, right? Those are small decisions. But the things that you just listed for me a few minutes ago, those are major life decisions. And a lot of the time, you need to be thinking critically about them and not just make the decision in one day, because that's usually when you're doubling back, like, man, I shouldn't have hollered at them. They wasn't cool. I should have did a little more research. Boo-Thang was fine, and I thought it was good, but it was not good. They got nothing but drama. Or, man, I shouldn't have came to this school. These folks out here be tripping. They don't be looking out for folks that look like me. I ain't got no support. Or, man, I took this job because I just wanted money, but I didn't think about the company and how they treat people. I didn't research other employees that look like me and talk like me or where I'm from to see if they're going to treat me with justice and equity. These are all the things that when you're doing decision making, you have to review those things in your critical thinking process before. If not, you'll go with the pressure. You'll do whatever, the first thing that comes to mind, and you'll be sitting up like, oh, Lord. Let me tell you, let me ask you a question. Do you know any adults that you could tell made decisions that weren't for their higher good and they're depressed? Do you know any adults that are very upset and angry and maybe they take it out on themselves or the people that they love because maybe they just made some life decisions where they didn't have a Miss Marianna or a Miss Laureen or the mentors in their lives to like really like slow them down, like, yo, you need to think critically about this. I know I'm getting on your nerves because you don't have a lot of people worried about this. I ain't going to teach you how to beat your face. I'm going to teach you how to manage that bank account. I'm going to teach you how to balance your funds. I'm going to teach you how to start a business, right? These are all things that are really, really important. And there are a lot of adults who are just kind of angry in life. And you can see it continuing in more decision makers. And I'm not here to talk crazy about an adult. I'm going to be 41 years old this month. I'm an adult. But I do notice that sometimes there are a lot of peers around me that are just angry and unhappy and depressed in life. And a lot of it has to do with not always the man in the world outside. Sometimes it has to do with the lack of decision-making skills, right? And so I want you to know that even though the system looks super stressed out in the pictures, and maybe a lot of adults around you might seem super stressed out because of the conditions of the world today, I also want you to flip the lens and know that you don't always have to see it as stressful. like making decisions can be super empowering. I know for me, when I decided to move forward in my career, let me give you a little history on Marianna, this lady all up in your face for the next 27 minutes, right? When I decided to create kind of like my own career path, which is like journalism and education, and there aren't a lot of people around me doing it exactly the same way, right? And I actually had a professor that I talked to, and I was like, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to do A, B, and C. And that professor wasn't very encouraging for me. And I had to sit and fortify myself and say, okay, that's not exactly what I wanted to hear, but I made sure to use my senses. I made sure to go through my decision-making process. I made sure to plan ahead, an A plan, a B plan, a C plan. And guess what, y'all? My A plan is working. So sometimes when you seek out counsel, it's not that you need somebody to tell you what to do. Sometimes seeking out counsel will be, they'll challenge you, and you end up proving yourself through being firm and fortified and fleshing out in all your decisions so that you can really, really execute them. And I feel empowered. Like, I'm hella happy that I moved forward with what the creator told me. I'm glad I followed my gut. I'm glad I resisted the temptation to do things traditional ways that everybody told me, because I don't say it a lot, but I'm living a very healthy, happy, best life. And it's not just something that I'm fronting and trying to keep up. I'm actually experiencing it. And that's what Maureen wants for you. That's what BYLP wants for you. We want you to understand the power of your decision making, not just your personal life, but in politics too, right? Leadership, activism. Once we get you healthy and strong and fortified with your own personal decision making, it's a domino effect, and it actually rolls over to your leadership and activism and all these habits and traits that I'm continue on. So I want to bring you to this very controversial page. And you know, there's some things up there that might catch your attention, and it's supposed to, but it's also things up there that we're dealing with in real life, right? And oftentimes, again, when we're not using our mature thinking, we're trying to be cool and trying to emulate some of the things that are in the music and the movies and the favorite characters. Even if you're not into music and the movies, some of y'all like that Fortnite. And I done sat up with my nephew and watched him play that Fortnite. And that Fortnite had him killing folks, and there was all kind of stuff going on, violence. So I was like, this is what y'all doing? And then they're doing it online with other people. And I want you to understand that you can be your own person and you can participate in extracurricular activities. You can participate in culture abroad, but you also have to know critical thinking. Give me a fist pound if some of your friends don't know the difference between entertainment and they try to live like the stuff that they see on TV and they look like boo-boo the food. Give me a fist pound if you got some friends. Let's just start calling it out, right? Who's some of the celebrities that your friends act just like? I want to know some names. Who are some of the rap artists? Who are some of the actors? Who are some of the models? NBA YoungBoy. Okay, talk to me. Oh, that's two people. Since y'all both brought up, I see y'all laughing now. I'm getting all into business. I got to keep it relative, right? So I see Cardi B. Who else? Who are some of your peers patterning after? And you like, you don't act like that. You doing that for clout. You doing that for attention. My friend tries to act like Blueface. Oh, Lord. I'm not trying to judge anybody, but realistically, Nicki Minaj, here we go. Now, do you think that those people are characters pretending a role, or do you think that that's really who they are, right? Have you ever had a kindergarten sibling and they like, look at what I could do, and you're like, ha 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 ha, and then they keep doing it over and over, and it's like, it ain't funny no more. It's overkill. Actually, you look foolish now, right? Well, a lot of these artists and people that influence with the rap music, telling you to make it clap all day and bust it open. Yeah, I'm getting real with it because this is the stuff that y'all sing all day. So I'm not going to act all shy with you. And I know Miss Lorene is the same way. So she keeps it real with me, and I'm going to keep it real with you, right? Blueface all day. This is what I make. No, you don't slang drugs. No, you don't. And if you are, you're living a dangerous life. And the likelihood of you becoming a famous rapper and exonerating behaviors that are actually not healthy for young people, that's not what we promote here. And I'm fine with saying that. So I want you to think critically about what you watch and what you put into your mind. Even if the beat is jamming, take the beat off and look at the lyrics like, dang, I'm not about that. No. Some of y'all ain't even got hands. You ain't got guns. You ain't got drugs. You ain't got that. You're still waiting for your mama to pay your cell phone bill. And part of the deal is you got to keep good grades to do that. That's your life. That's your reality. So make sure that when you're making decisions, you're being aware of the environments around you and how they influence that. How many of your friends, talk to me some more now, how many of your friends are making decisions that they get just from, oh, somebody said, oops, she's speaking to my soul. I know y'all be in them DMs. I know you be Snapchatting stuff. I know you be TikToking stuff, and your mamas don't never go on there and check your phones. That you a whole different person. Yeah, you a whole snack, and you a whole different personality around, not around Miss Lorene, right? Oh, somebody said trifling. Who you around? I ain't heard trifling in a long time. That's what we said. Me and Lorene said that when we was baby, just trifling, right? Scandalous, right? And when we really think about it, it's cute because they're getting paid all this money to act ignorant, to lead people your age to not be woke, to not be conscious, to not be responsible. The people that really earn those record labels and those Instagrams and Facebooks, they're not worried about you being healthy, whole, complete, conscious, productive. No, they're not promoting that. They're promoting all of the folks that got you acting wicked towards each other, fighting at dinner tables, cussing each other out, not carrying yourself with respect, but because your edges is laid, or your kicks is fly, or your whip is that, or like, what's his name with the colorful hair? What's his name? What the crazy boy? They call him the Rat. He just got out of jail. What's his name?
6ix9ine.
There you go. Thank you for coming back. I appreciate you. He slipped my mind. I try to stay relative, but I don't listen to his music because that's some brainwashing stuff. But let's look at that. The reality of how he shows his decision making. He is a character. There is a board of directors and owners and CEOs sitting behind like, yeah, keep doing that ignorant stuff and leading all these young folks to do it, right? And he literally doesn't care. He wore a whole lace front. I ain't gonna judge nobody for their hair options because I don't want to be judged for mine. But my point is some of the decision making is a little disruptive and disrespectful, not only to themselves, but because, what does he say? It don't matter. I'm getting money. It don't matter if I got little girls copying this negative behavior. What you gonna say? I'm getting money. It don't matter that I got locked up and I gotta snitch and I gotta pretend and I gotta put violence out there and suggest drugs and Molly and this and all these kind of things that you see, right? The violence, the drinking, the drugs. It's going on in a lot of the music because that beat's right, got you doing a lot of things that you probably wouldn't do if you really sat down and said them lyrics to some of your elders that love you. That wouldn't be being a child of God. That wouldn't be true to yourself. And none of that behavior is probably going to get you to any of your real life goals. So somebody tell me in there, even though you may not know what school you want to go to or exactly what you want to do in high school, y'all, Skittle teeth, he do look, anyway, I brush my teeth today though. Give me some breakdowns on what your gifts and skills are. What do you want to do professionally? Even if it's your own business, what kind of business do you want to, and I'm not just going to say the top three things, doctor, lawyer, those are cool. And we need Black doctors and lawyers, but shout out right now. Tell me some of your ambitions, even if you're not sure and it's 2 or 3 things and you're still figuring it out. Put in from there, spoken word poet, beautiful, beautiful. Some of the other things that you want to do for your profession, things that you know you want to learn about and then give back to the community and make money. Real estate, love it. I want to be independent. How? Tell me how. I want to go into psychology. Excellent. Because we be tripping mentally. I want to be a surgeon and for Black rights. Yes. Photography, pediatrician, vet. Yes. I love it. I love it. This is all Black pride. A social worker, but with kids. Yes. A social worker. You know, everybody going cray right now. We need y'all. We need you, Black social workers. So let me ask you a question. Make AI that helps third world country. Oh my God, a cook, a hairstylist. Look, these are all things that are positive. And if you sitting up drinking all day, smoking all day, taking drugs all day, giving your body away to folks that don't deserve it because you ain't respecting yourself all day, all the things that are suggested by a lot of the celebrities that you put a lot of time watching, none of that stuff is going to get you closer to any of those goals. I could bet you money on that, okay? When you graduate, call me up. I got $100 on it when you graduate from college that, Miss Marianna, I'm being honest with you. None of that stuff helped me graduate and pass the front line that I was trying to pass, okay? I got 100. I'm going to have to save up some millions for y'all because I know you're making it. I know you're making it. But the point is when you're making decisions, what behaviors, what influences, what things outside of you are you deciding to do and represent and pretend to be like? Because if you got to pretend, that ain't keeping it real, that ain't keeping it 100. And all y'all said, we about that life of keeping it 100. So I want you to start looking as you move from this conversation, as you go through life for the next couple of months, years, whatever, start looking at number one, your critical thinking. Are you observing without your feelings? Did somebody just got you hyped up because the beat is right and they got you to get into stuff? Did somebody got you hyped because they saying cupcake stuff in your ear, got you doing things that you know you ain't ready for? Is somebody rolling up when you know that that ain't your thing, but you just trying to be cool because you don't know how to resist peer pressure and you haven't thought critically long enough on what response you're going to make to where somebody can check you and be like, you know what? I ain't even mad at you. I'm gonna go do what I do, but the way you just broke that down, I can't do nothing but respect that. And if they tease you, if they badger you, then you got to make some decisions on, are these people that I need to be around? Because the reality is all these things are listed there. But I also listed the cell phone, because some of us are addicted to our cell phones and we put more time into our cell phone than our personal development, our critical thinking, and our decision making. How many hours, type in on a daily basis, tell me, Miss Marianna, how many hours do you spend on your cell phone? If you don't know the exact, just give me a roundabout. How many hours a day? Let's see, talk to me. Over 8 hours, that's a full-time job. Oh Lord. Well, I'm assuming, okay, now let's break it down a little more. 10 hours, oh Lord. Some person just said a lot. One person said 5, 6. Okay, now let me break it down because I know you use your phones for school, so I'm gonna give you the benefit of the doubt and for work. How much time a day? One person said like 16. Carl, when do you sleep? Oh Lord, I don't have a cell phone, but I got a laptop. Same thing, devices, laptop, cell phone, whatever, iPad. Now tell me this until I'm asleep. Oh Lord, all day. Tell me how much you spend doing work. So put work this many hours, which means school too if you're young. Give me how many hours you spend a day doing work or school related, honestly, not just watching somebody, but then being on the phone with somebody else, with your boo thing, right? How many hours a day do you do for school and work? And then how many hours a day do you do for pleasure and mindless viewing and watching that bull? Let me say, so work, so type in work and put how many hours, and then type in how many hours for pleasure. Okay, that's still a lot of time. 5 hours mindless viewing. Girl, you know what I could do in back 5 hours? I can make thousands of dollars in 5 hours. We got to get y'all straight. 6 pleasure, 4 work. Okay. First of all, I appreciate your honesty, but are you starting to see where our decision making begins? Our decision making begins at the beginning of the day. All right, let me weigh in some more because this is interactive. How many of y'all roll over and the first thing you do in the morning is check your social media? You don't pray. You don't brush your stinking teeth. You just roll over and check. Oopsie, me. Oh, y'all singing opera now. Okay, guilty. Now, that doesn't mean that it's bad if we do it, but my point is how we start the day. It sets the tone for the day, and oftentimes that's how we end our day, right? And if we live another day of life in this world where we having pandemics and COVID's taking folks out and racist folks killing people on a daily, we probably should start our day with the Creator. I don't care what you believe, Christian, Baptist, Buddhist, Seventh-day Adventist, shamalama ding dong, whatever it is you believe, we should probably give our first few days, minutes of our day to meditation, to prayer, right? And that doesn't mean you got to woo-saw all day. It might just mean taking some deep breaths and saying a mantra like, I'm grateful to be alive. Because some folks ain't, some of y'all got family members who died of COVID. Some of y'all have family members who are victims of the system. And you've survived that, right? So my point is decision-making and critical thinking starts how you start your day. And then how do you flow out through your day? Do you create a to-do list? I am grown and I still do a to-do list every single day, right? And I make a decision to get as much on that to-do list done. Because if not, I'm chasing the butterflies. And I do put chasing the butterfly time on my to-do list. I do put relaxing and internet time on my to-do list, but those things aren't priorities before taking care of my needs before my wants, right? So lastly, what's my process? I done told you a lot of process. Looking at what is important to you. What do you value? These are the things that take priority when you got to make a decision. Is getting attention for some friends that ain't going to be down for you or have your back to do something stupid important to make that decision with them? Or is making sure you cool with your moms or your pops or your big mama or your guardian at home in the long run? What is at risk if you make the decision? These are the things that we're looking at, right? When we're looking at the facts, what am I risking? If I make this choice, What can happen? A, B, C, D. Do what you need to do before you want. I'm glad you feel that, Elijah. I think it was Elijah, right? What is the gain, right? What do I gain? If I make this positive decision, man, I'm going to pass this grade. My mom or my dad or whoever, my uncle, whoever, they're going to hook me up because I'm handling my business, right? I ain't got a job yet, but I know when I make the right decision, I get hooked up. I know Laureen hooked y'all up all the time, right? For doing the right thing, right? And then, is this realistic? Ask yourself, like, is what's being offered to me in this decision even realistic? Because there's a lot of cons out there right now. Y'all be putting your money on these social media apps and all kind of stuff, betting and doing all kind of games and stuff. Well, what can you gain? What do you risk? What is the risk? If the risk is too high, that might not even be a decision you need to be messing with. You might as well just keep on pushing and keep doing whatever you're doing, right? And then, do you need a safe space? Do you need to talk to an elder or an OG or a pastor or a mentor, a big brother, somebody you trust, like, you know what, I don't know what to do right now, and I just need some guidance, right? And then lastly, the simple one that I always do as a grown woman is this for my higher good? Period. If this is going to make me depressed, sad, if this is going to put me at risk with my friends and family, right? Exactly, Melissa. How, not just will your decision, because every decision affects us, but how will it affect my future? Look at the fact that, am I just doing this because somebody I seen acted a fool and it got them attention? Or is this going to lead me towards being that psychologist, being that social worker, being that business owner, being all those wonderful things that you all listed, right? So let's recap the 3 things that we said is, number 1, get out your feelings long enough to think critically and to observe and to extract the true, honest information. Number 2, look at the facts. Look at all the facts, not just the facts that you got easily. You might have to dig and do some research. Y'all research the song lyrics to everything and all kind of stuff. And then lastly, have clear takeaways. Be certain of the information. Make sure you understand it. So when you make your decision, you make an educated decision. So look at that. I've been talking for almost a whole hour. Do you have any questions? Do you have any comments? Do you have any concerns? Does something not make sense? I try to check in with you along the way, but holler at me in these last 5-10 minutes. Do you feel like you knew all this? And it's like, I knew all this already. You didn't teach me nothing. Or I knew some of it, but I needed this deep reminder. Give me some comments and talk to me. Let's check out the proper way. Not just me giving you information, but you evaluating giving me. You summed it all up. All right, Zach. I mean, I can deal with it because I told you I do my job well. Yes. Who else? Talk to me. There's about 14, 15, 11 of y'all. You spoke right to me, and I'm loving it. What did I speak to? Tell me one thing, Alana, that like stood out that you was like, dang, I needed this in my spirit today. All of this in my face. Give me some specifics. What did you learn? Or tell me what thing that you might have known, but it was a deep reminder and you just needed to hear it. Give me some specifics. I still got 9 more minutes for you. 9 more minutes. You gave me a well-needed reminder. Absolutely, right? And we can be intelligent, we can be deep, but sometimes we need somebody to pull our coattail and be like, yo, I just need to remind you of who you are, right? I really need to take a moment out of my day. Oh, yes. What I really value is worth it. Yes, your values, your worth, all those things are really important when it's time to make decisions. So make better decisions. You just put me in check. Well, you know, that's why Miss Laureen called me. She tired of checking y'all by herself, so she brought TT Mari too. I always know how much I need to think over it. Yes, amazing. So right now, you're actually engaging in critical thinking. For most of them, they hear this from their parents. Yeah, right? Who wants to admit that your parents tell you some of this stuff, or maybe it ain't the same way, but you don't appreciate it, and you think they get on your nerves? No. People that love you, I appreciate you too, dear. Thank you. People that love you and care about your future, like Miss Laureen and all the people that help with BYLP, we just love you. We love you because you're amazing, you're worth it, you're deserving. We love you because you remind us of us and the things that we needed for our future. So I just want to tell all of you, just like I started, I'm so glad to be here. I'm glad to be a part of this day. I'm glad that you all are just really involved. When you were playing the game, I was like, oh, like you guys are really into this. It's very important to have these positive influence to balance out all that crazy stuff that we see and hear every day that's promoted as positive. And it's not. It's really fake. It's not 100. And we want to make sure that you have people who are 100 in their heart, in their mind, in their spirit, but most of all, cheerleading for you. So I thank you so much for just giving me an hour of your precious time And, you know, if you have any feedback or a write-up that you want to give me, any other questions, you can follow me at Miss Marianna 365. I do a lot of this cool stuff, maybe a little minute segment, so you don't have to sit a whole hour. But if you just kind of like, you know, let me add her to my rotation when I'm scrolling so I can get infused with some good love and some intelligence. So it's Miss Marianna 365. I'm just the same spirit, Harriet Tubman spirit, as your queen, Laureen. So we come from the same spirit pod of being determined, being outspoken, but loving you as our beautiful Black future. And I hope that this inspired you. And whatever you do for the rest of your day and the rest of your month and year, think critically and make wise decisions. My name is Miss Marianna. Peace, y'all.